In Nepal, there's a story playing out every single day. It's a tale of two Nepals. But this divide isn't about mountains or valleys, it's about which school gate a child walks through in the morning. We're going to dive into this huge split between private and public schools and really what it all means for the country's future. So, for parents all over Nepal, this question, it's not just a simple choice, is it? It's a decision that's absolutely packed with anxiety, with hope, and let's be honest, often a massive financial sacrifice. It feels like the one choice that's going to set the course for their child's whole life. And right here, this is the heart of that dilemma. You've got public schools on one side. Their job is to educate everyone. But the perception is, well, that they're under-resourced. Then you have the private schools. They've branded themselves as the modern, English-speaking ticket to a better future. And boom, that's the central conflict we're going to get into. All right, let's get into it. Section 1 is all about how we even got here. Two Nepals in education. So where are we getting all this from? Well, our guide for this whole discussion is an article by Dunbar Singh Soud, who's a sub-professor at Far Western University. His work really lays out the groundwork for us to tackle this. Okay, so what does the author say is the root cause? He uses this really powerful phrase, structural incapacity. What does that even mean? Well, it's basically saying the public school system consistently struggled. Not enough good buildings, not enough skilled teachers, not using modern methods. And all of that created this huge gap in the system, a vacuum just waiting for something or someone to fill it. And in Section 2, we're going to see exactly what rushed in to fill that vacuum. It's the rise of the quality alternative. You see, private schools didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It wasn't an accident. It was a chain reaction, really. Back in the 90s, you start to see the public schools struggling with quality and management. Meanwhile, cities are growing, society's changing, and parents are starting to want something different for their kids. The private sector saw an opening, and, well, they took it. And here's the thing, they were smart about it. They didn't just offer more of the same. They offered exactly what parents were craving. Things like English medium classes, hands-on learning with computers, and, a reputation for strict discipline. That whole package was just incredibly attractive. And just like that, they became known as the quality alternative. But of course, all this change, this progress, it had a flip side. And that brings us to Section 3, the price of progress. Let's look at the real consequences of this divide. This quote from the author's article, man, it just hits you. Education has become a tool for socioeconomic classification. Think about that. Something that was supposed to be the great equalizer, a way for anyone to get ahead, is now basically sorting people into classes. And this chart shows you exactly what that looks like in practice. It's a pretty clear split, right? The wealthy and middle-class kids, overwhelmingly in private schools, and the kids from poorer rural families, they're mostly in the public system. This isn't just a theory. Those two Nepals are being built in our classrooms, making social divides even deeper. What's happened is that education has basically been turned into a commodity. It's like buying a brand name product. You're not just paying for the thing itself, you're paying for the label. It's sold and consumed based on how high the fees are, how new the buildings look, even the style of the uniform. And the danger there is that actual learning, it starts to take a back seat to the status symbol of the school. Okay, but here's something that we don't talk about nearly enough. The teachers inside this private system. Yeah, sure, the top-tier, super elite schools might pay well. But the author points out that a lot of these private schools are basically built on the backs of underpaid, overworked teachers. We're talking low salaries, no job security, just a huge workload. And you have to ask, how can you build a quality system on such a shaky foundation for your educators? So is this just how it has to be? Is there a way out of this? Well, that leads us to Section 4 and a totally different way of thinking about this. Not competition, but collaboration. The whole idea here is that the old model, this constant competition, private versus public, it's just not working. It's a dead end that just makes the social divide worse. So the solution being proposed is a huge shift. Instead of fighting, what if they work together? A collaborative model where the goal is to raise the quality of education for every single kid. Okay, that sounds great in theory, right? Collaboration, partnership, but what does that actually look like? Let's get into the nitty-gritty in our final section, a blueprint for partnership. So the author doesn't just leave it at that. He lays out a pretty clear 4-step plan to actually build this bridge. It's all about sharing resources, swapping teachers, making social responsibility mean something, and creating real, regulated partnerships. Let's start with step one, sharing resources. The idea is actually super simple, but it could be a game changer. Think about it. Private schools often have these amazing science labs, big libraries, and nice sports fields. What if they just opened their doors and let public school students use them too?
But, and this is a huge but, the author gives a serious warning. This cannot feel like a charity handout. If it's just the rich school letting the poor school use its stuff, it could actually backfire and make that psychological divide even worse. It has to be done as a partnership of equals, with a sense of shared ownership.
All right, next up, teacher exchanges. And again, this isn't a one-way street. It's not about private school teachers coming in to fix things. Sure, they can share their skills with new teaching methods and tech, but public school teachers have something just as valuable. They know the community. They have deep local roots. Imagine the power of combining those strengths. Everybody wins. And then there's this whole idea of social responsibility. The author really challenges us to think critically here. When a private school offers a few scholarships or donates some books, is that a genuine effort to help, or is it just a really good marketing campaign? The point is, we need a system with clear rules to make sure these contributions are actually making a real impact, not just making the school look good. When you boil it all down, what are we really talking about? This isn't just an academic debate about schools. It's about nation building, because a country with a divided education system will, inevitably, become a divided country. The stakes are that high. So that leaves us with one final, big question. We've seen where the path of competition has taken us. The author challenges us to picture something different, a path of collaboration. Just imagine for a second, what kind of stronger, fairer, more unified Nepal could we build if these two worlds of education stopped fighting and actually started building together?